All right, welcome. I'm John Chen, your host for the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. If you're watching here on social media, make sure and subscribe, share, like, and comment. I am almost to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. Click the button here, ring the bell. You too might be the number 1,000. Something magical or mystical might happen to you if you are number 1,000. If you want to see all the episodes of this podcast, go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online. Subscribe on one of your favorite 15 podcast platforms where you can get a new episode every Wednesday of the week. And if you want to learn how to be more engaging in the world, scan this. Take your phone out, turn on your camera, scan this QR code, come to the Engaging Retreat. This is a free ticket. Also, we have amazing paid VIP tickets. And every person who comes to the in-person program, they will get actually 5-minute shot of them in our 4-camera studio and give that video back to them. Many speakers are looking for that. This year will be October 23rd through 22nd, October 2026. Now, my next guest, I got a chance to meet on shout out to Marty Dickinson, Speaker Speak Live. She got a chance to see me when Marty called me the week before and just saying, John, can you come and present? I'm like, oh, fine. And I was very excited. If you haven't checked it out, speakerspeaklive.com. And I was the 2024 Speaker of the Year. It's a place where you can work on your speaking, which of course, you know, I care about, and get valuable feedback from really amazing people. And so this person actually, we got a chance to meet there. And we're going to talk a little bit more about there. She got some valuable feedback. I love what she said. She said what was the most valuable tip for her? Having a walk-on video for yourself to do your introduction. She said, well, that's a great idea. And then later that day on a webinar, had somebody literally murder somebody's introduction or bio. And she goes, wow, that, and I really see now the more and more the value of that. She's the founder of KTHill Consulting, who helps value-driven leaders multiply results without multiplying costs. She's the co-founder of Feedback Academy AI, where she works to close the gap between how capable people are and how well their communication represents them. She also cheers her multi-sport son, negotiates with a highly food-motivated black cat named Lord Garmadon. I see, hopefully I said that correctly. And being accompanied everywhere by her 125-pound Colorado mountain dog. Let's welcome Katy Hill. Welcome, Katy. How are you?
I'm fantastic today, John. How are you?
We're doing good. You know, the real question is how's Lord Garmadon doing today?
Uh, his lordship is sleeping, so that means he's pretty content, or he's just a typical cat. I'm not really sure.
You know, it's a tough life being a cat sometimes.
Oh yeah, you live in a palace, you have servants. Yeah, it's rough.
And do me a favor, tell me a little more about why speaking is so important to you. Again, you're a member of Marty Dickinson's Speaker Speak Live. You told me, I think you have emceed and other things. Why is the spoken word so important to you?
Communication is the most important thing we can do to connect with each other. And we send so many messages, whether they're intentional or unintentional, that practicing it,
Mm.
it's just going to make you better. It's going to make you better at everything. It's made me having a kid and learning how to communicate with a child, and then turn around and communicate with my husband so that we can both communicate with the child. I mean, it's just practicing communication and refining it has just made me a better person in every aspect of my life, personal and professional.
Genius. All right. Well, speaking about making better, let's make a few of my friends better by meeting you. Some of my friends don't know you, Katy, so take this moment to introduce yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Thanks, John. So it started with an aside in an email from my business partner, Billy. There has got to be a better way. You see, he was 35 minutes into an hour-long networking session, and the host was still the only one speaking. Nobody else could get a word in because the host had centered himself completely. Over the weeks, I continued to get messages. Ugh, I had to listen to him drone on again. Somebody fell asleep on camera today. Then I got a new message. You know, we could build the kind of space where people like us actually get the benefit. You see, John, all it takes for me to jump into any new venture is for someone to say to me, we can help people and we can get started today. That's it. I'm in.
Wow, and you have been to maybe some of those presentations or networking sessions. I mean, that's the weirdest one. A networking session where somebody drones on 35 plus minutes. That's not networking. That's like you keynoting, right? That's why did you call it networking? That's the worst part. Is like false advertising is the worst part. Like if you just would have said keynote, I might have actually been almost okay with it, almost. So, well, talk to me more then too. How did you get into communication or spoken word, or how did you start? I mean, was that the start of your consulting company way back
So
when?
that was a seed, and that was a seed for things that Billy and I decided to build. And everything that we've built together over the last, I mean, it's been about a year now from those first email communications where frustration then turned into the germination of an idea. And then we decided to run with it. And the thread that's run through all of that is communication. And as you said, we focus on that gap between how capable people are, because people are amazing. They really are. Their communication doesn't always reflect that though. And so that's what we really are aiming to do, is to close that gap for people.
What's an example? What's an example of you closing the gap? Whether you can share a name or not share a name, you can anonymize. But I'm just curious about what's a way that you've shared that gap with the
So
other two.
as a matter of fact, something really relevant and salient is I was on Speaker Speak Live, and Marty does such a great job in facilitating that and
Yeah.
setting the expectations. And we're in the breakout rooms, and I reconnected with somebody that I hadn't spoken to, and we'd seen each other kind of here and there in other rooms, but hadn't really spoken in depth, probably in about a good 6 months.
Hmm.
And as a matter of fact, we were just sharing with each other after that, and she's like, "Huh, you Feedback Academy, you help people speak? I mean, give them practice places? I have a keynote coming up in April." I'm like, you know what? Great. Because we know each other, because I'm invested in you, because I like you, you're a likable person. I love what you're doing. Let's get you into the tool. I'll get you a free extended beta membership, and you get yourself ready for that keynote. Right. And so I just got off a session where we walked her right through it. And I was showing her, like, okay, not going to lie, I prepped things using my tool today for this because it was easy. I recorded stuff on my phone, I put it in there, and it told me what I really needed to hear.
Mm.
That I was speaking too slowly. I had really long, awkward pauses, probably because I needed to practice more. It was short, specific, immediate, and I iterated until I smoothed it out.
So you're saying for even for this podcast, right? You wanted to test out some new material or some even. So yeah, talk about this. You're a co-founder of something called Feedback Academy AI. So let me see if I understand this correctly. You can send it video and or transcripts, and then it will come back and then tell you something back from that. Does that sound about right?
Yes, it watches a practice recording,
Yeah.
and then you get plain language, what you can do to improve. You also get your strengths, and it'll tell you how you're doing in a variety of categories. Like I said, it told me, Katie, in the first 2 minutes, you're speaking way too fast. And then at minute 7, 11, you can go back to the video and watch it. It pings you right back up there. It's saying you have this really long, awkward pause, and here's
Oh.
what you can do about it. So, yeah, it's that quick and easy to practice new material and prep a new story or prep a new intro. And you can iterate. I did 3 different iterations in the span of about 15 minutes.
And what was the genesis of this tool? Was this just again going back to your you want to help others and want to find a way to get started? Is it? I'm curious what the genesis story of this is.
So, yeah, it did start with wow, people aren't running the kind of spaces in which others are centered for networking.
Hmm.
And not only are hosts sometimes not really great speakers in that space, but sometimes people aren't either. They're just after seeing painful uh intros and things from people. That awkwardness. It's like when you get to know the person and they relax, they're amazing.
Yes.
How can we help them hit people with their brilliance in the first 3 seconds? And so we thought, what would it look like if we gave people, it started with the physical human practice space, right? How do we run a virtual space in which people get to practice? We both are educators, so how can we teach them the basics and mechanics of networking? Get them more comfortable, give them a practice space, and give them feedback. And then we started talking to some people, and we talked to somebody in particular, and he said, what if we built an AI that focused just on this, just
Hmm.
on communication feedback? That way they can get the ugly, you had 35 filler words per minute. Your speaking pace was 178 miles per hour, right? So, how can we get rid of the dirty work so that when people work with coaches and they practice in spaces like Speakers Speak Live, that the dirty work is done. They've gotten the mechanics and the clunkiness out of it. And so that working with coaches and getting into those practice spaces, they can get feedback from humans for what humans do best. It's the empathy, the warmth, the finding. I will forever be grateful to Marty for this. Finding my speaker voice. He
Ooh.
pointed out in my practice videos, like, there, go back to this moment. That's what you sound like in your speaker voice. That's what you need to develop.
What was
AI
what?
isn't
Yeah.
ready to give me that.
What did you identify as your speaker voice? I'm curious what he heard or what now you know to be your speaker voice.
I'm a bit irreverent,
Okay.
wry sense of humor,
Okay.
and I get excited. But really, it's when I let my passion show, when I'm speaking extemporaneously. It's what good speakers know. It's when it flows. It's when you're in the zone. It's natural.
Nice. Did you read the book Flow?
I
Have
did
you read?
not.
Oh, think you should. I think you would like it only because,
Okay.
right? It's the Russian guy who did all the research on flow, and they actually took people. The way they did the research, I thought was really interesting, is that they gave you it was like a timer, and it allowed you to identify and mark when you felt like you were in the flow or and not in the flow.
Mm,
And then he started to try and find out what do all these moments have in common. Like here's a really interesting one, is that time moves differently when you're in the flow.
mhm.
So we've all been in the boring meeting. The boring meeting is the time moves slow, right? And then we've all been in the exciting meeting where time moves really fast. But in flow, they actually do both at the same time. And what I mean by that is like maybe you might remember. I'll be curious if you have an example. If you have a conference that felt like it was over in a flash, and the more you thought or thought back on the conference, there's like all these moments in between, which therefore made it make feel like it was slow. Like you feel like you did a year's worth of experiences or activities in like just 2 or 3 days. Have you ever like been to a meeting, conference, or gathering like that?
Yeah, actually, I was fortunate enough to have a professor. Once
Hmm.
upon a time, I was in a doctoral program.
Okay.
Right, in a former life. And we had a professor that we all had this massive crush on because he was just the most amazing and authentic human being back before authentic got to be an overused word.
Hmm.
He knew who he was so thoroughly and unapologetically. He showed up who he was. And who he was pretty darn amazing. And so every single one of our classes, we were, and this was, I mean, we were working professionals. This was Friday nights and Saturday mornings, right? And the classes just went by so fast. And
Yes.
there was just so much we pulled from it each and every time. Like we would get there early on Saturday after getting home at 11 o'clock and being back at like 7 in the morning. We'd be there early because he was just that magnetic and those spaces were just so incredible.
What's one or two things that this professor did that you remember that made it this way?
He was so genuinely curious. Like
Mm.
I've had a
Mm.
lot of professors say, I learn as much from this as you do. But he lived it. He asked for our feedback. What's something you took away from today? What's something you were curious about today? What's something I
Yeah.
didn't do today? Two
Oh,
things every time. And he read them and he poured over them and he put them into his notes and he stayed up that night and revised it for the next day. And it was just in his posturing, his positioning, his wording. He was on the journey with us because he was a constant student and
hmm.
he practiced it and it was intentional. And that makes the difference, doesn't it? Bringing intentionality to it.
Let's talk about that feedback part because I think the feedback part is so important. Uh, because number one, you got to ask, but it's not enough to ask, right? What I think makes the next level in a program is when the meeting organizers somehow or another demonstrate to you that they're listening to your feedback. Because otherwise, right? Haven't you ever given feedback and it goes into the vacuum and you're like,
Mm,
same problem happens the next day, which means that even if you heard me, you didn't do anything about it, but this person did, right? And I don't, to
yeah.
me, what happens is that the audience recognizes that and falls in love a little more or engages even more because it's like, oh my gosh, you're actually listening to me. It sounds simple, but many people don't do it. I don't know if you have any other insights for people who actually follow their feedback.
So I'm going to restrain myself here because you just tapped into one of my soapbox issues.
Oh, get on it.
Coming coming from higher education and internal and external consulting, right? Don't ask for things you're not going to use.
Right. Oh,
You
super high.
use up
Yes.
people's goodwill and like think about it. People's willingness to give you feedback, it's a fixed amount, right?
Hmm.
And if you ask for things and don't do anything with it, you fill up that circle more. And then you ask for things and you don't really do anything with it. And you use more and more and more of that. And I was the data and a survey person in many of these institutions, or came in from the outside, and that was my job to do. And I'm going, look, don't ask a single thing you're not willing to act on. Don't ask things you don't want the answer to,
Yes.
because students especially are incredibly savvy. They're going, I mean, they will write in if they have the chance to. Why do you bother asking this every single year? You never show that you do anything about it. They'll tell you they are brutally honest.
Yes.
So you have to. And the places that I've seen do it really well,
Hmm.
sometimes it's the simple things and that garners trust while you're working on the longer things.
Maybe you'll love this, Katie. Like once I was the VP of education for a nonprofit, and they had this thing called 5-star education, right? And because the ratings actually matter, the ratings. This is a local chapter to a national
Hmm.
organization, and all the ratings actually go back to national. It helps determine where you are as a chapter. People really cared. And so
Hmm.
I created this thing. I said, well, that's the goal. The goal is to get 5-star education. So I ran a whole year, all year long. I said, look, I'd open with, look, we have 5-star education here, right? That we're looking to earn your 5 stars. If we doing something that doesn't earn your 5-star, I actually gave my cell phone out. It was like a decade ago, and I said, text me. And one time I got a text, and the text said, we have no B&B plates, and I'm like, oh, what's a B&B plate? And I'm like, I had to ask, and all of a sudden, this was like meeting planner vernacular. It was bread and butter plate. And so they had rolls, and people were using their coffee cups for their rolls. But the funny part about it was like they were all so distracted by not having this bread and butter plate that they were actually stopped listening to the speaker.
Oh.
But the good news is they texted me. So within 3 minutes, we actually had bread and butter plates all delivered to their table. And that alone is like, again, I'm still telling this story a decade later. I think those are the type of things that
Hmm.
people miss, and I just don't know why. I mean, you gotta, if you really want customer service. It's funny, I think later on, like a year after the program ended, somebody still texted me and said, I don't have any coffee at my table, and I still got it anyways. I wasn't even VP of education anymore, and I'm like, oh, I'm on it. I'm there. So I don't know, where did your sense of serving people come from?
Um, you know, that's a darn good question. I'm not really sure. And I haven't thought about that in a while. No, that's an excellent question. I just, I'm a nurturer by nature.
Okay.
I want to help people. I I'm a cynic, but I think people are pretty darn amazing, which
You're
is
a
a really
nurturing cynic. Let me
I
just
am a
let me put
nurturing
those two
cynic.
together. You're a
It
nurturing
it is
cynic.
an
That's great.
interesting combination. I think people are pretty darn amazing, but I think the systems around them are pretty darn terrible. And
Mm.
I think the systems and the environment around people um, limit so much of what they are and take away so much agency. So without getting into these big, huge, grand ideas, like I believe in the power of human beings. They're astonishing. They're amazing. What people are capable of. And I'm not talking, those huge, great feats, right? We just had people go around the moon. Amazing. Every single one of those people who did that, amazing. But it's the everyday amazing too. The fact that people are out there in their communities, raising their families, doing the things, going to the jobs they like and don't like. Like people are pretty amazing and resilient. One of the statistics that comes to mind is everybody's like, AI is going to take our jobs. Yep. same way the internet did and manufacturing and all this sort of stuff, right? Automation. Guess what? Every single time new jobs were invented. I
Yes.
mean, I remember the statistic and I still think it's true. In high school, most of the jobs that you are going to see in your lifetime aren't even thought of yet.
Yes.
And why would we expect that pattern to change? People are pretty darn amazing. So I like helping that come out of people. If we can help break some systems or bend some rules to get that coming out of people. And again, like if we can start today, I'm in. That's all I need. We can help people and let's go today. I mean, that's how I've gone down a few roads that I probably should have thought about a little more, but I went anyway.
So there's kind of like the beginning, middle, and end people. So you're also telling me like you're a beginning person, often.
Yes, in the sense of you mean I like being in at the beginning of things
Yeah. So
and I
that's
may
right.
peter out towards the end, possibly. That's a little deep. But
Uh,
yeah,
that's okay. There are some people that are like that, right? There are some people who are like finishers. There are some people who are best
yeah.
in the middle, and there's some people who are best at the beginning. All right.
I'm
Does that sound
definitely an
about
ear
right?
I'm definitely an early adopter to use, all of that and change. Like again, it's ready, fire, aim. That works for me. I'm a nurturing action style person. So, if you tell me read it, and I get into a lot of things. I don't regret many of them, few, but I don't regret many of them. I will
I
jump
feel
in and then figure it out later.
I feel like was it Red Hot Chili Peppers or something, right? Better to regret something you haven't done than to regret something you have done. So what's something I want to know is what's something that you actually regret getting into early?
Oh, um, that's a good one. And I'm not sure that I can give voice to that without calling people out, and that would be unfair because just because it wasn't a really good fit for me, and it didn't fit where I was, and I should have probably taken more time and done due diligence, didn't mean that it wasn't a good organization, a good place, good people, all that sort of stuff. It just I should have done my due diligence. And so usually it's situations like that. It's not a bad situation. It just isn't good for me.
Got it. Okay, cool, interesting. What about I want to know about your virtual background. Where did you get this virtual background, and does it have some meaning to you?
Um, so I started this in education as a sneaky way of teaching faculty about copyright permissions.
Yeah.
So I source free, rights free abstract backgrounds that match the mood I'm feeling for the day.
Oh, what's the mood that
So
you're feeling today? Can I ask?
springy, open sky, sky's the limit,
Oh,
horizon
good.
to horizon, just open, right?
I'm,
Yeah,
I'm on the
much
I'm on
like
the
the
same vibe. Oh, good. I'm
much
on the
like
right
that
thing.
vibe.
Yeah.
Because faculty a lot of times, like they were really big on plagiarism, right?
Right.
Thou
Right.
shalt not plagiarize. Pretty sure that's etched in PowerPoint somewhere. And they would use images though, all kinds of people's images that were under different rights and they didn't have the right to. So it was a small, little, subtle teaching moment.
Interesting. All right. Hmm. Uh, okay, so you said you attend a lot of virtual as well as in-person presentations. I'm curious, what does a presenter have to do to be engaging for you?
Ah, so what they have to do, let me tell you a little story here.
Oh, good.
So,
Story time.
yeah, story time. I spent a long time in higher ed. And in higher education meetings, man, they are not just a thing. They are the thing, John.
Everything, right?
I am
Yeah.
talking about the let's have a meeting before our meeting to discuss the upcoming meeting. And then let's have a meeting after our meeting to talk about the meeting we just had. Send an email, right? No. What I learned from surviving hundreds of these meetings is that what kills engagement for me? Surprises. Not
Oh,
the good kind of surprises, but I show up and I have no idea what you expect of me. Am I here to listen? Are we problem solving today and you're going to throw us into breakout rooms or groups? Do you even want my input or just my attendance? I have a cardinal rule. soapbox moment time. And I will say this until the day I die, right?
Wow.
No one likes work surprises unless it's food.
And it's got to be good food.
In education, any food is good food. And so you want to know the meetings where I stay? It's because somebody has done the work up front. They've been super clear with me. This is why we're here, and this is what I need from you. That's it, John. It's
Yeah.
that simple. And
Yeah.
you really can't over communicate in a virtual setting, can you?
No. And also restating it, even if you emailed it beforehand to restate it when you start, it was actually my secret weapon at while I was at Microsoft in meetings was a whiteboard and a pen. And all I would do was write down the goal of this meeting, right? Because Microsoft was full of meetings too. And I just said, the goal of this meeting is this. And we would take the first few minutes in the meeting to, number one, state the goal, all right, and ask people, right? This is what I think the goal is for this meeting. What do you think your goal? And occasionally, like a big argument would break out for 15 minutes about that's not why I'm here, right? Or this is not what I think the goal is. And I said, that's great, good. Tell me what it is. And so either we changed the goal or they left.
Mm-hmm.
Which is even both of them are good, but the problem is that if you don't do that, right, people sit in the room not knowing for a long time and wasting a lot of people's time. And so this was the number one a very top high factor in engaging virtual meetings was that people sent the agenda.
Yep.
Right? It sounds simple, but again, you're just saying lots of people didn't do it.
No, there were so many meetings. Like we had a notorious weekly one where
Okay.
we would gather, get this, 35 of the top executives in the college, right? Director level on up, some other
Okay.
specialized positions. So think about the hourly rate in the room, right? You know, my little math brain's going back there. And it's an hour and a half, 2 hours
Hmm.
weekly. And the agenda was to share things we all needed to know. It was a giant face-to-face email.
That's the T-shirt, right? This could have been an email.
This could have been an email. Yes. And it was a waste of time. It was expensive. And the only time anything interesting happened in there was usually pretty negative because somebody got surprised. Somebody else was called out publicly. It just, without having a purpose,
Yep.
why gather people together?
But my theory too around gathering people together, Katie, is that we need to do the things that we can't do by email.
Amen.
Right? 35 people, you're gonna have 35 people, it's either brainstorming, decision making. Right? It's almost impossible to get 35 people to make a decision by email. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And you got to get viewpoints. And I'm on the board. I'm on the board of our local chapter, and people are always surprised about how much time I let conversations go on. And but that's actually the good part. The fact that we have this thing coming up, we actually have to decide. It has fiduciary responsibility on top of it. And so I want all the viewpoints to come out. And there are people trying to rush it through. And you're like, no, no, you don't understand. You just missed the whole point. The whole fact that a bunch of people even have dissenting views is actually useful. And so I want to give time to that. I'll let other stuff fall off the plate,
Mm-hmm.
but I do not want to rush or push a decision where everyone at least doesn't feel heard.
Yeah.
Right. And eventually, that again, people they may not agree with the decision, but they will abide by it. They respect the decision. Right. It's
Yes.
kind of like
They
I don't
they
need you to like
understand
me.
it.
Yeah, they understand it. They understand why it was made that way.
Absolutely.
And sometimes that's enough.
Sometimes that's about all you can hope for. I hear you.
Okay, but worst virtual meeting that you've ever been on? Don't have to name names. I'm just
Ooh.
curious. Worst virtual meeting you've been on?
I was on some of those meetings. Uh my business partner and co-founder Billy was on too. And yeah, I went to about two, and
What
it
about?
just wasn't worth my time because it was 15 to 30 minutes of the host talking,
Yep.
and then everybody gave the same 30 to 2 minute intro. And we heard the same thing over and over every week with no new people in the room. I didn't need to hear that every week. Twice was enough.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, people who repeat too. Like we're humans, we need variety, especially after the group gets to know each other.
Hmm.
Now you can move on. You don't have to do the same thing. What are we both know our good friend Marty Dickinson, and you said he's a great host. I'm curious. One or two
Yeah.
things that Marty does that makes him a great host.
So Marty doesn't break my cardinal rule. He is fabulous about telling you what to expect. And he has it down to every single role.
Yes,
If you're a new participant, this is what you expect. He
that's right.
reiterates it every time and he doesn't belabor it, but he does his housekeeping up front. If
Yeah,
you're a new person, this is what you can expect. If you've been here, don't forget, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. He has it orchestrated. If you are going to be speaking, I mean, he may not have done this for you because I don't know. I think Marty likes putting you on the spot,
yeah,
but if you're going to be a showcase speaker, he's like, here's everything laid out. Here's your
yeah,
timeline. Here's what you
yeah.
need to give us. And
Right.
here's how it's going to roll.
Yeah.
You get the emails ahead of time. He never surprises me. I always know exactly what's going to go on. And so I walk into the room feeling calm, confident. I know how to participate because I like participating, right? Why am I there if I'm not participating? Send an email, right?
Yeah.
And he's amazing at that. And he is so good at centering everybody else.
Hmm.
It's Marty's speaker speak out. He runs it. We all know that.
Yeah.
But his presence in there is small for him and large for others. He amplifies others. He centers them.
Well, he most importantly too, he's created the culture, and he's created the culture that doesn't necessarily need him,
Yes.
right? Because I'm just saying that he's now created it in such a way that other people are recruiting other people. Like other people can give his spiel, and the other people can greet new people. So he's found a way to replace himself. But more importantly, though, he has determined all those items that you just said. Those are
Hmm.
all part of the Speaker Speak Live culture. And this is what I've told leaders all the time. You're making online culture regardless of whether you think you're doing it or not.
Yes, you are.
And that's how valuable it is because again, you can come in safe. You also know too when you come back what to expect, right? And the other parts too is that the variety piece is because all the different roles change.
Yes.
The people inside of the roles change. The role doesn't change, but the different people inside of the role change. So that you're like, oh, that's novel, or I want to see how this person does, or that's cool. I get to learn something new in all the
And
different
that's
roles.
that's where he centers other people. He showcases them.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
through every single thing he does. So it's a wonderful space. I feel like I belong.
that's important too.
Hmm.
That's an important too. Okay, speaking of belonging, how about the future? What do you think the future of communication is in virtual and hybrid programs and meetings? Yeah,
Okay.
10 or more years in the future from now.
So it's story time again.
Okay,
Story
Mike.
time. So I was in an open forum for a provost role, and that's like a C-suite level academic role.
Hmm.
And open forum, big audience, right? And it was Q&A time. And one person stood up and said, "Why do you want to be provost?"
Ooh, yeah.
Right?
Hmm?
And this candidate,
Did you say it's Canada?
no, this candidate,
Oh,
sorry, this
this
candidate,
Canada.
this
Sorry,
person, right? This person standing up there, right?
Canada. Okay.
Quite literally gave voice to their inner monologue out loud into a live mic. What can I tell these guys that'll get them to make me provost? You could hear the jaws hitting the floor. This was not a hot mic moment either. They knew, they knew the mic was live.
Wow.
And so for me, what the story captures is that we've got a reckoning coming that I don't know that we're really ready for. I mean, sure, we've all made peace with the fact that if you post online, it'll be there forever, right? But are we really ready to deal with the fact that everything we speak out loud is going to outlive us? That means every virtual meeting, every recorded phone call, every Zoom session, it is now all part of a public record. So when I think about the future of virtual communication, It comes back to people. I think the people that are really going to thrive are those that have such an incredible fluency in intentional communication.
Mm.
They are so smooth and fluent that there is no gap between how they are on camera and how they are off it. And John, it's not because they're performing. It's because they've done the hard work.
You said authenticity was overused, but I was kind of on the other side where authenticity is like one of the high words right now for speakers, meaning that for me, one of the phrases is that authenticity trumps perfection. Like speakers used to need to be perfect. You
Yeah.
need to look a certain way, sound a certain way, say all the right words at the same time. And that's not what I think audiences want now. They want sometimes messy, sometimes dirty, but and definitely authentic. Because the audience knows too, just like your students know, they know immediately like, oh, this person's blowing smoke, right?
Hmm.
I don't believe a word that they're saying. You can tell that in 3 seconds or less. Or the inverse of that is going, oh, this person is totally speaking from their heart right now. And so I'm just curious about, even if you say authenticity is overused, what's its role in communication now for you?
So, John, I agree with you. Authenticity as a value, as a
Yeah.
lifestyle, right? That
Yes.
is 100% because that's how you can't connect with people if you aren't connected to yourself.
Yes.
I think the word gets overused. It's becoming a
Yes.
buzzword now. And
Yes.
so saying, I'm an authentic speaker, I don't know. Does that mean you have amusing anecdotes? I'm not sure what that means anymore. But
The worst part
authenticity,
about, well, Katie, I was going to say the worst part about it is an authentic speaker can't actually say it about themselves.
I
I
know.
think it's more powerful when somebody else says it.
Yes, the social proof, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so that's where I think the word authentic, it's become a marketing buzzword and it turns
Mm.
people off and it puts them on guard and puts their hackles up, right? It
Yes.
just
Okay.
hearing the word is wrong. But as a lifestyle, and I do believe this, if you don't know who you are and you are not speaking from who you are as a person, you cannot connect with others. And if you cannot connect with others, I don't care how brilliant you are, how capable you are. If you can't do it with other humans in real time, under pressure, consistently, it doesn't really matter.
Interesting. All right. Well, speaking of connecting, all right, I'm going to connect with you with this brand new part of my podcast. This is called the speed interview.
All right.
While we've been chatting, I've been writing questions down, and so in this part of the interview, if you're open to it, I'm going to ask these questions and see if you can answer them as quickly as possible and play some ridiculous noise like this one.
Ready, fire, aim. Let's
Oh,
go.
oh yeah, that's right. Ready,
Giddy
fire, aim.
up.
Okay. Worst for so I already asked you. A Q. Tell me about a time you did Q&A with a hostile audience.
Uh, I was called into a room of campus presidents, 20 of them. They were massively upset about the survey I had just run and the process. And I had no idea I was going to be walking in there. There was a podium up front. And so I stood next to the podium and said, I am not going to hide behind the podium. I am just standing next to it so I can take the notes. Tell me everything you want. I'm not going to respond. I am just here to take your feedback. Tell me anything. It didn't de escalate. I will tell you that much.
uh, okay, here we go. Let's see. How about this one? I don't know what it did afterwards, but I'm not going to ask. Okay. uh, let's see. Ways that you help others that you're proud of.
I love hosting virtual spaces where others are centered. It's
Mm.
not about me as a host, it's about others. It's about connecting them to other people. I love being a connector. My favorite thing to ask people is, I know, and this sounds terrible when talking about yourself, is, what kind of connections do you need right now? Let me see who in my network can help you out. Um, it's my favorite thing to do.
Genius. All right. Let's see. Uh, how do you get started on anything?
That's a darn good question. Usually somebody's told me, Katie, we can help people and we can get started today. Um, I collaborate a lot. I work with other people. And so usually it's sparking ideas off of somebody. We get an idea. We go, what if? And then I'm going, why not? let's go. We're all in. So it's usually working with other people, and I just sort of roll them along with me.
I like Why Not. You could write a whole book called Why Not. Ready?
Mm.
Okay. Besides Marty Dickinson, best virtual host.
Oh, John Chen for sure.
Oh, there we go. Favorite MC example. Favorite MC and an example.
Favorite MC. Ooh, you know what? I'd have to say, my friend Jordan over at Gate Entertainment. He can connect to adults, to kids. He can do the not safe for work content while still keeping the innuendos far enough away from the kids. Like, he's engaging, he's physical, he's in the space, and he just elevates the energy. I love him.
Energy is actually a key aspect of MC. I totally agree. Right. So how?
And he uses that noise.
Gotta have a DJ air horn. What are you genuous? Jesus Christ! What are you genuinely curious about now? Wow, why is that so hard to say today? Genuinely, right? This is a word you said. Genuinely curious. I think you said this earlier.
Um, what I'm curious about right now
Yes.
is how to connect better with others. I feel like my life is so incredibly full, busy, overwhelmed. Not quite the hot dumpster fire that it might have been during the pandemic, but how do I how do other people keep everything moving while still staying rooted in those connections? Because I will tell you, I okay, I would have survived the past like 7 years. But
Hmm.
I don't know that I wouldn't be much worse off mentally, physically, financially, spiritually if I didn't have people in my life that anchored me. And so I'm genuinely curious about how do we stay connected to the people that matter while still giving all the time to the things that we need to in life that are important. Because staying rooted in my relationships, that's what grounds me, and I know that's what I need for the future.
Hmm. Genius. I think there's that's a worth tracking activity. Like, name your top 5 people and figure out what you're doing with them, whatever it is. Okay, name an astonishing human.
My son.
Oh, say more. What's his, you said multi-sport. Name at least 3 of his sports.
Taekwondo, nearing black belt, competitive basketball, and competitive tackle football.
Wow.
But it's not the multi-sport thing that makes him astonishing.
It's
He is incredibly empathetic,
hmm.
and so he constantly surprises me by the depth of understanding that he has for other people, their emotions, and what they're feeling.
Aw. And what's the name?
Liam.
Liam. Oh, that was my
Yes.
college roommate's name. Liam. He plays in a ska band. Used to work at the Museum of Pop Culture here in Seattle. Okay, tough question. Favorite food?
Oh, steak.
Wow. Have you ever been with Marty and cooked a steak?
No.
Because what I did find out is that Marty will not allow a restaurant to cook a steak. He only goes to restaurants where he is allowed to cook the steak.
He would love Australia then.
Okay. And last question of the day. If you could get people to magically remember one thing from this interview, what would that one thing be?
So that would be that communication is a learnable skill.
Hmm.
I have never worked in or with an organization in which it wasn't the number one thing that could be improved. Never. Invest in it. It will be your highest return.
Aw. Well, Katy, thank you again. I'm so glad that we got a chance to meet on Speaker Speak Live and spend a little time together. I appreciate you coming here on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast.
John, thank you so much for having me. It's been a joyful time.
Aw. All right. This is John Chen here with the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. We've been talking with Katy Hill, and she says, invest in education. it's gonna pay off. And by the way, lots and lots of people are bad at it. So if you get any training, you could probably get better. And for me too, I think one of the things that is that's a lifelong. You just as soon as you think you've mastered something, you'll find there's some other piece of communication that you really need to learn. Speaking of communication, if you want to learn how to be more engaging, and you're watching here on social media, make sure and subscribe, share, like, comment. Thanks to let's see, I say Oily or Ollie1293. Thanks for saying hi online. We appreciate you. If you want all the episodes, go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online and you can get all the episodes and a new episode every Wednesday of the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. And if you want to learn how to be more engaging, take your phone out, turn on the camera, scan this QR code, get a free ticket. And we give amazing speakers and education every October. This year will be October 20 through 22nd. Or you can upgrade to one of our beautiful VIP tickets, whether you are virtual anywhere in the world or one of our special 50 to 100 that come live to Bothell, Washington, and you really get a chance to meet these speakers in person. Last but not least, if you want to be like Katy, go to engagingvirtualmeetings.com/meet, select interview, and you too could be the next guest here on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. We'll see you next time.
Drawing star people and keep people. Show you